Boxing with LowKickMMA, and I'm here with Victor Henry, who returns to action next weekend on October 15th. Victor, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very happy to be talking with you. 8 days out. How are you feeling?
Skinny. All this dieting is not the business, but it is what it is. It's part of the game.
Yeah, for sure, man. Before we get to your fight, it's been 10 months since your UFC debut. How'd you feel about that performance, man?
And I mean, it was nothing that I didn't expect out of myself. It wasn't surprising to me or my coaches or my teammates. The only people that seemed to be surprised were the people that were not familiar with me or my fighting style, which is, it's cool. Not everybody can know everything about MMA, but if you're going to make an assumption on how a fight should go, I think it's only logical and fair that you do research on both of the fighters. To just put a blanket statement over that somebody is going to just whoop on somebody is it's unfair if you didn't do the research on both people.
Especially in the sport of MMA, man. It's like anything can happen, right?
Absolutely. I mean, anybody can get punched in the face. Anybody can get punched really freaking hard.
Yeah, no, for sure. I did just want you to kind of reflect on that, man, because you've been grinding for so fucking long, and then you finally make it to the UFC. Just how was that experience?
Well, fighting in the UFC is definitely an experience. It's not anything that I'm not used to already. Um, I know a lot of people like to talk about the UFC jitters, and it may be a real thing for other people, but it's not for me. Well, at least it wasn't for me. Um, Fighting, no matter what the promotion is, no matter what the crowd is, no matter how big the cage is, no matter what the betting odds are, no matter what outside influence there is, no matter what it is, there's always one constant, which is the only thing that you should be focusing on, which is the person across the stage is trying to punch your head off and twist your neck off. So you know, fighting in the UFC, as far as backstage and the people taking care of you, that was awesome. But as far as the fight itself, yeah, bro, it's the same as every other fight. Somebody's gonna try to whoop your ass.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not like you haven't fought in front of sold out huge crowds, huge Japanese crowds. Like you've seen it all.
Yeah, yeah, it is what it is. Um, I was I stopped being nervous early in my well, I shouldn't say nervous. I stopped concerning myself with all those little things
Mm.
early in my career. Because you're always gonna get nervous for a fight because you're about to go out there and fight somebody. But as far as you know, this person or that person or jitters here or jitters there, it is what it is.
Awesome, man. Awesome. I did want to ask, were you happy to see all of the love that you got from the MMA fans? Like I said, hardcore fans have been watching you for years, but now the casual MMA audience saw you and saw what you can do and saw how good you really are.
Yeah, I mean that it's been fun. It's been interesting, especially I still kept my day job. So when people come out to me and be like, "Hey man, where do I recognize you from?" I'm honestly, for me, I don't know. There's now I can use, oh, maybe in the UFC, but I never say that because I mean, I don't know. You kind of sound like a douchebag. Oh no, I fought in the UFC. Maybe you saw me there. Um, but I've had a pretty good life as far as being in different places and and different experiences. So but it's still kind of weird to me. Like, hey Vic, what's up? And I'm thinking to myself, who the hell are you? Where do I know you from? Do I owe you money? I hope not.
For sure, for sure. Why the long layoff? It's been 10 months. What's up?
Uh, you know, um, these. Have you ever seen the movie Colors?
Yes.
All right, so there's a scene where Pac-Man is talking to the old head, and the old head tells him about, do you remember the bull story?
Yeah.
Why run down? Yeah. I mean, I really gotta take my time with these things. The fights have to make sense. I know I am pretty much on a timeline. But going to the gym all the time, and I don't yo-yo train. I don't only hit the gym when I have a fight. I don't do that kind of thing. I was in the gym the week after. I went to work right after the fight in January. I just went home, took a shower, and I went to work. You know, I mean, I served a couple drinks and everything, but my bosses were telling me, "Hey, just get out of here, bro." Like, but I ate pizza. I enjoyed being around the people that, obviously everybody had just seen the fight, so they were all excited and it was fun. But when you're in the gym all the time, little injuries occur. Especially it is what it is. Little injuries here and there. So I wanted to make sure that getting into a fight camp, I was healthy. I didn't want to go into a fight camp with an injured ankle or an injured elbow or whatever, it was. I wanted to make sure I was healthy. That way I could start camp healthy, end camp healthy, and be ready to go and put on the best performance that I can. So,
with all that being said, do you wish you fought a little bit sooner, or is 10 months, October, a perfect timeline for you?
I mean, 10 months is all right. 4 months would have been cool too, but, you know, you can't, I mean, you only get one body and you got to make sure it's healthy for a fight.
Yeah, gotcha. Totally understandable. Um, all right, Raphael Assuncao. Firstly, were you surprised that they matched you up with somebody who's been in the top 15 for many years?
No, no, not at all. After the first fight, I wasn't sure what direction the UFC wanted to go with me. I mean, obviously the pros and the cons. You got to weigh those things, and the UFC as a company as a whole, people have to remember that the UFC is a company first, and that company has to make money. And the way they make money is through promotions and obviously fights that make sense. So I didn't know if they were gonna, after that fight with Barcelos, I didn't know if they were just gonna shoot me to somebody top 15 right away, because that wouldn't make real logical sense. Only in the fact that they couldn't really sell that fight.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, yes, my fight was the featured prelim, but it was still a prelim. It wasn't like millions and millions of people were watching, and they can make a case for a top 15. That wouldn't sell very many tickets. However, if they were to just to give me some Joe Schmo, that wouldn't really be, meriting my performance either. So, I think Rafael Assuncao, as experienced as he is, as he's had, of course, many fights, and he has many ways to win because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he doesn't have very many knockouts on his record, but he's still a big puncher. So that fight made sense, and he was actually the highest ranked person that was offered to me to fight.
Well, and you took it.
Yeah, that was right.
um, so I wanted to know. Yeah, I guess let's just go. Let's just go right into it. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
I mean, it's a good fight. I know that Rafael has had a slight backskid in his recent fights. Um, so I really that raises a question on what kind of a Sunsao is coming out. I know that he's training now at Extreme Couture, so he's got a new camp. So is he? I mean, there's inherent good and bad things on that. And I have to be ready for a brand new Sunsao with the mindset of him knowing that this is probably his last go. So he's gonna probably come out with either new tricks, or he's gonna come out, just like a bat out of hell, and he's gonna want to solidify his spot in the UFC. Because he's got to be thinking, and so is everybody else, that, oh man, if Rafa loses this fight, he's out. So he's got to go. He's gonna go in there guns a blazing. So I gotta be ready. What if this is the best Rafa that we've seen in many years? We don't know. So, the only thing I can really count on is that, again, some dude's gonna try to punch my face in. So I gotta be prepared for that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because I asked another fighter today, like, in training, do you train for the other fighter's mindset? Like, he's on a 4 fight skid. Like you said, he loses, he's probably gone. So he's coming in with something to prove. Like, is that something that you prepare for, or is it something just in the back of your mind?
It's something in the back of my mind, like I have to make sure that I'm not, I think a lot of fighters, a lot of the times they over focus on what their opponent is good
Mhm.
at. So they just train the entire time to counter what their other opponent is good at, as opposed to really refining the things that you're good at. You
Mhm.
know, the time in between fights outside of camp is meant for getting better all around, not just the things that not just the things you're good at. Um, you have to work on all aspects of this game. I mean, there's so many aspects of this game to work, you know, that it's hard to be great at everything. So you got to work at those things all the time. Um, so his what he's probably going to be doing is in the back of my mind. I have to just really make sure that I'm ready. And how do I do that is by continuing the things that's working. If if it's working, it ain't broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Perfectly said. Have you seen the outrage from the fans, the analysts, the media that you guys are on the prelims?
No, not really. I mean, you know, um, something similar happened last time with Barcelos, where I was somewhere in the prelim, and then a fight got dropped, and now all of a sudden I'm the featured prelim. So these things happen. That's why there's a little note on the bottom of every fight card. Card fight cards are subject to change. So I might be prelims. Who knows? I mean, I might be main card. Who knows? Who knows? These things change all the time. I mean, look what happened to the UFC event a couple weeks ago
Yeah.
with Chimaev and all those guys. Things just get rotated around, and sometimes at the last minute.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. And as of this chat right here, Joe Anderson Brito doesn't have an appointment, doesn't have an opponent, so that could move you guys up even up
Yeah,
even more.
yeah, it may happen.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right. Well, at the end of the day, October 15th, how did you get your hand raised?
I'm thinking it's not going out of the second.
Mm,
I don't think it's getting past the second, and I think I'm going to be punching him in the head.
I love it. I love it. Finally for me, not looking past Assunção, but you get a win over him. It's a big name on your resume, big name. You have a win over Barcelos and Assunção. Like, what do you want your 2023 to look like? Are you looking to jump up those rankings as quick as possible? Like, what's the thought process right now, or is it just taking it day by day?
Bro, I'm here for a good time, like 2023 after this win, I want to start getting right back to it. I ain't getting any uglier, so might as well just get into it, man.
Awesome, awesome, Victor. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate it. If you want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you might have, and if you want to thank anybody, the floor is yours.
All right, guys, you can follow me at Victor Henry MMA on Twitter and Instagram. I'd like to thank my sponsors, of course, Gentleman Fight Club, CMMA, where I train out of, Fight Tech. They're hooking my cutlass up with some good fuel injection and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that Hellion card that's going to be coming out soon enough.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.